Hi. Hey everybody. I don't have my mic on. All right. If I just started 1 minute earlier. All right. Today's Friday morning, which means art journal demo. There's some technology overlaps here today. And let's see. I have so much new in the shop. I'm going to use some new products today. Plus, I hope you can join me at 1 when I do the product reveal, because I just have so much to show you guys. Oh, there's the GM picture. Thank you. All right, so let me give you my view, device settings, new camera, and then save, otherwise it doesn't work. There we go. This was the page that I was working on last 2 weeks ago, I think. And, you know, for me, it doesn't have a lot of layers, but I kind of like it the way it is. So I don't know that I'm going to add anything more. It's kind of neat to go back and see something in there that this little tiny little detail that you see in there is actually a little decal. It's a baby Yoda head, and it's from my sister's yard. I found it on the ground in my sister's yard in New York months ago, and I showed it to her. I was like, what is this? Because it was just an odd shape. And she said, oh, that's from, you know, one of her stepchildren's birthdays, and they wanted Baby Yoda, and so they had these little stickers, and that was at the back of one of them. And so I kept it. It's one of those weird things that for some reason I felt drawn to it, and so I threw it down, and now it's in my piece, and now I have a little connection when I look at it to that time. Actually, this whole page, that's right, I started with collaging. So I have my inspection notification for my luggage. They always open my luggage because I always have paint in there. All right, so that's, I'm thinking that one's done. And, hey, Kendall. Kendall's actually in the room with me, being my sidekick today. Here's some pages that I haven't looked at in a while. Just a quick flip. This is my big journal that I've been working in consistently throughout the pandemic. So you can see I went through a sort of wintry phase, Christmassy, wintry. That was my coming back. I'm not going to work on these fabric pieces because what I want to do is I want to prime them so that they're not so wet when I work on them. So I'm going to go through and prime them before I do a live, because you don't want to see that. No. All right. Let's talk about it. Okay. So this book is getting pretty thick. I don't know if you can see that it's quite a mound on this side. So I'm working on the watercolor pages, and this is the Dina Wakely journal, mixed media journal, the big one. If that's better or not. And today I'm going to use a couple things. One, I'm going to use one of my mixtures. This is a color. I haven't named it yet, but it doesn't give you a good idea. And I'm also going to use these two texture pastes. I actually have all of these texture pastes. These are Finnabair, Prima Marketing's Finnabair texture paste line. And this one is her icing paste, and it is the vintage gold. And this is the Phoenix, the effect paste, and it's Phoenix. I don't know. Yeah, you can see the gleam on that. So I'm really interested to see how this works on my page. So those things I'm going to put down. So I need to start. On inventory yet? They are not. Well, actually, the vintage gold I think is. These came yesterday, so I've just, and they come in these blister packs, and I just hate the packaging. Shows up, it's already dented and looks, you know, it looks tacky. So I take it out. So they're in there. They're just jars. And here we go. This is what I'm looking for. A stack of stencils. I'm going to do my squirrels today. Caught Dina Wakely's live for a few minutes this morning. I guess she's into chickens. Kind of cute. see. Some of my go-tos are in here. These were out the other day because I was doing some jelly printing. Okay. Keep those close by. And I'm just going to start with some of this down here. And I'm going to start with my color because I'm really curious how this works. How this is going to look on the page. The base for this is a light modeling paste. And the reason I wanted to work with this one in particular today was because this I used a pigment powder to create the color instead of mixing paints together. And I want to see what happens, you know, how it works, because I find them a little gritty, to be honest, and not exactly the consistency that I want. But I'm thinking maybe if I leave them to dissolve a little bit, maybe they work a little better. Anyway, the color's nice. Here's the color. Hey, Lois. I saw your pictures on Instagram the other day, Lois. It's beautiful. Nice that the weather's improving. The problem with having an Apple product is that everything is connected to itself. So when my phone rings, every device in the house starts to beep. Which means I never miss a phone call, but still, it's annoying. All right, so I'm laying down some Seth Apter's dye ink. It's interesting how it's interacting with the texture medium I already had down. He has a whole bunch of new products coming out. It might be worth, if you have the time, to check out his lives on his Facebook page. He's been promoting them pretty heavily. They're all on order, so you'll be able to get them from me soon enough. They're all, you know, pre-released. None of them are actually here yet, but he's got some fun colors coming out and some new products altogether. So all nice fit for the stuff I do here. So that color, let's see, that was the Eyes Ink spray, blue sea spray. Sea spray, it's called Sea Spray. Yeah, me too, Lois. I feel like this has been an endless winter. It's a beautiful day outside right now, though. Glorious. I had a nice evening last night. I feel like it's coming. So you can kind of see where the pink that I had down is interacting with the blue and creating some purple. As I keep saying, I've got a ton of stuff that's come into the store recently, including a lot of paper artsy paints. I've ordered some of their new colors. Some of them sold out already, so I'm on the waiting list. But then, if you don't remember, the paper artsy are the colors that have the chalk finish, and they just have the most amazing line of colors. Like their selection is amazing, and I have them all in a whatchamacallit, spinner in the front of the store, and it makes me happy every time I look at it, just because it's pretty. Let's see how this does. This stencil is getting almost to the point where it won't stencil anymore. So thick with paint. I don't know if you can see how thick that is, but If you work exclusively with the paper artsy paints, then you end up with a really nice surface to draw on, because it's a little chalky, a little matte finish, which makes it's a perfect for using the jelly pens and some of the markers and stuff on top. Okay, let's do it. I want to see what this does. This is the Phoenix. This is the effect paste. This is the stuff that literally came in yesterday. So I'm gonna do that thing where I use the same stencil over and over again. Look how brand new it is. I'm gonna peel this back, and I don't know if you can see through the jar just how glittery it is already. And this is from Finnabair. Finnabair is a mixed media artist. Her stuff, she sells her stuff via Prima, and she's a staple at mixed media events, workshop events, which of course are all on hold at the moment, but I'm really fingers crossed that eventually I can get her here. Ooh, look at that. This reminds me of like ice and some of those texture pastes that I've been using recently. It's nice and thick. Hold it still.
Yeah, I think it's easier to see. Yeah, if you hold it still.
Ooh, sage advice from Kendall. Can you see the gleam in there? This has like chunks. Look at that. Chunky stuff here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot in there. A lot going on. I'm going to just scrape it over here. Finnabair does all of these really sculptural things with her stuff. So she's the one. She has a line of molds that I have her previous ones in stock, and again in that box were all of her new ones. I'll show you this afternoon at 1. And so she builds these layouts with all of these pieces on it. They're just amazing. I don't know if you can see just quite how chunky this stuff is. It's really stunning. That is cool stuff. All right, and then the other one is this one. I've had this open for a while because I've been using it here and there. This is her vintage gold, and it looks like it might be a little liquid because it has settled. You don't see where I scooped it out. Yeah, a little bit, but barely. Look at that. Can you see the gleam on that one and how frosting thick it is? That's what I like. Oh my gosh, look at that. Whew, that stuff is all so chunky. I love it. Leveling up. I don't know if you can see how rich this looks on the page. And that's the vintage gold that I have every color. So this effect paste I've had in the store for a while, and let's see, icing paste. This is the icing paste, and I have all the colors. So don't forget, I'm taking appointments, slowly working towards being open a little more consistently. Like, you can stop by whenever you want. Hey, Jill. Thank you. I hope you do. Got a lot of fun stuff happening. I want to start a mood planner with the Elizabeth Craft Design stuff because, let's see, I was going to throw this color down. This is a terracotta. I think this is a Seth Apter color from the Paper Artsy stuff. Yeah, so I was thinking I'm gonna do a mood where you do a mood color layout. Either every day or for the day that you're working on. Actually, I like that. So some of these colors with the Paper Artsy are translucent. This says translucent, and this is also translucent. What's nice is they do the whole thing with like that Goldens do that you can, as a high quality product when they do this, which is they take a little piece of the paint and actually put it on the outside of the bottle so you can see genuinely what the color is. And I find that very classy because it's very, useful. So you don't have to rely on the color in the bottle because, when things dry, they don't always come out the same as the wet product. Anyway, full marks on my book. So that color was, I've used so far terracotta and mustard pickle. The way the website is set up now is that you just have the one product and you go in and choose your color. So that's why we can't post to this specific color online anymore. And still working on the pictures. I had a product catastrophe the other day and lost all the photographs for the frescoes, and so I just finally reorganized them, and I'm going to get the photos up this weekend. But the Tracy Scott and the Seth Apter ones should have their pictures, I think. Okay, let's see what else am I going to do. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to use a little distress paint. This is the Twisted Citron. Remember, distress is a fluid acrylic. It goes down pretty liquidy. It's got a nice tint load to it. But then if you want to spread it out a little bit, you can add some water and it liquefies and you can move it around a lot. That's the distress element of it. And ooh, I like what happened there. Do you see how it interacted with that purple? Very pretty. And then once you dry it, it's permanent. That's the acrylic side. Acrylic paint is basically like a polymer. Like when you dry it, you're curing it, so it's always there. But you can peel it off and make decals out of it too. It's kind of a miracle product, to be honest. Yeah. I like that a lot. So I'm going to add this to this side. See what happens. I don't know if you can see this corner a little. So, normally this time of year, I would have gone to the big craft show, the retailer craft show, and I would have gotten a bead on all the new stuff that's coming out. And since everything's virtual this year, a lot of it is available to you guys. So I encourage you to check out Paper Artsy's lives that they've been doing in some of their rollouts. And I carry a lot of their products, so if you see something you like, let me know and I'll let you know if I have it. Or you can search the website, bringing in a lot of their stamps and pencils and They have a lot of designers. I have a little bit of something from almost all of them. And some of you might have seen my demo for Stacey Scott's stuff last week. That was fun. Actually, not last week. What was that, Wednesday? Time is no meaning anymore. All right, so this is Liquitex acrylic inks. This color happens to be yellow, medium. Oh, I need my glasses. Azo. The Liquitex colors, it's a fine art product, so the colors are a little more about their fine art name. But ooh, look how that did. It went very much like the citron. And these are liquid already, so they're very easy to spread around, and they will dry permanently. And by permanent, I mean they're not water soluble anymore. Some of these products, like the dye ink that I put down early on, are dry and but water soluble, and so they'll reactivate in some form or another if you add water to them, even after they've dried. So just know that. I'm going to use another ink. This is yellow orange azo. No complicated names for these guys. I'll tell you. The first color was yellow medium azo, and I can tell you, having playing around creating my own texture paste, that coming up with color names is not easy. You can see why Jane Davenport has a whole thing about choosing her color names, and she just loves the process. But it is a process, because you got to make sure it doesn't infringe on somebody else's color line, and you got to make sure that it says what it is, and you can't get too snarky with it, right? Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. I'm going to use a little more of this texture paste. This is one of my colors. I haven't come up with a good name for it yet. It's pretty thick stuff. So it's obscuring the colors from underneath it. So that's one of the things I look for in a product. Like, is it going to cover up what I have or interact? Is it going to add and mix and become another color, or is it going to just obscure? Okay, I'm guessing I have about 5 minutes left. So last week it just stopped. Right? Didn't we have an issue last week? Okay, thank you. Keeping me on task. Okay, you know what I want? I want another color. This is another Seth Apter spray. This is Sunflower. And, one of the selling points that he makes about this is that they don't clog. And I have to tell you, they don't clog. I have had these sprays out for over a year, some of them, and they don't clog. They just do not. And I think it's remarkable, since that is one of the biggest issues with sprays, spray inks, is their clogging. All right, so now I've managed to get color down on all of it. It's a little circusy at the moment. Sunshine. Sunshine makes me happy. It says sunflower, and then it says sunshine on the side, so I don't know. So sunshine, I guess, is what it is. They're a French company. They might have some translation issues there. I find it, some of the foreign websites that I order from, every once in a while you come across a translation that just wasn't you know, copy edited properly. All right, I'm going to actually throw down some more of this, the vintage gold, and I'm going to use this stencil. I'll have to look up what the stencil is. I think it's paper artsy, but I'm not entirely sure. But I always like this one. Remember, the eye likes things in threes. Okay. Not sure if blow drying the stuff works. Sometimes it works to dry medium, and sometimes it melts it. So I managed to get the whole thing covered in color. It's not nearly as many layers as I usually like to put down, but like, you know, that one layout that I started out with, when I went back to it, I decided it looked done enough for me, and you know, it was full of stuff that I found interesting to look at. I just wiped paint on my face. So yeah, so I don't know, I'm gonna leave this and we will see what it looks like later when I come back to it. Let me see here. Camera, device, sit back down. All right. So yes, so that's my art journaling for today. I mean, the stuff that I'm going to share. I might do some more for myself later. And then I have at 1 o'clock the product reveal. I have lots of boxes to show you, but I have one in particular that I'm really excited to share. I mean, I'm excited to share all of them, but come back at 1 and see that. And you can make an appointment to come in. I'm open Tuesday through Saturday, 12 to 5. I can be a little flexible if you want to come in at 11. You just let me know. But I do, you know, the appointments help keep everyone, you know, safe, and that's where I'm at right now. It feels good, but I've been really enjoying seeing people in person again. So please come in, even if it's just to pick up a pen and say hi. It would be great to see you. Anyway,